none. And may I have everyone rise for the pledge of allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Mr. Broman, if you would be so kind as to call roll.
Here.
Mr. Neal?
Here.
Mr. Rock?
Present.
Mr. Hoffman?
Here.
Mr. Rossetti?
Present.
So. Present.
Thank you.
Thank you that way.
Thank you very much. All righty, if I could have everyone review the minutes from our last meeting. Any errors, omissions, spell check corrections?
No, I will make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Ravitch?
Abstain, I wasn't here, so I can't speak to it.
Mr. Neal?
Yes.
Mr. Rock?
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman?
Aye.
Mr. Rossetti?
Aye.
We have no old business unless I am mistaken. So that would leave us to move on to our first order of business. A motion to recommend the approval of a variance of the community graphics regulations at 184 South State Street to vary the window coverage limitations as specified in the village code to allow for window signage that may cover up to 100% of the window surface area. Mr. Ray?
Sure. So Dr. Ryan Foster is here with us tonight. He has submitted his variance application. All the documentation is in. Basically, he wants to have graphics on his windows that will cover up to 100% of that window area as stated in the motion. Staff did some comparisons with other communities just to see if our current limitation is in line. It's not just a one-off thing that Hampshire does, and it does appear that it is for the most part in line with other communities. I did speak with Jerry Nelson from our building department. He says in his experience, 50% is pretty usual in other communities in kind of the Chicago suburb area. But he did note that has seen some variances for this particular type of thing in the past, especially related to physical therapy establishments, doctors' offices, and things like that, where you have patients inside that may feel more comfortable if you can't see all the way into the practice. So Dr. Foster's here tonight. He signed up to speak. If you'd like to approach it and say anything about your case, or if the commission has any questions.
Me tonight. So, and who is this?
I'm Dr. Ryan Foster.
Hey, okay, thank you. I didn't hear the name. Thanks.
Owner of Cairo Plus Family Health and Wellness, right across the street. So, I bought this practice from Dr. Ronaldo, who's been there for 23 years or so. I bought it from him, and I've been there almost 3.5 to 4 years now. And originally we didn't have much signage. We only put some words up on the window. I've had staff changes, and I've also tried to change things up so it'd be more visible from the street. Because I've had people come in that do Google searches to see if this chiropractor is near them. And they actually live across the street from us, so they're right on the corner, and they don't even know chiropractor is in town. The guy was there for 23 years before me. I've been here 4 years, and they don't know there's a chiropractor. So having some signage would definitely see it right up the street. I mean, right now, we scraped off the stuff that we had, the wording and stuff, and I put a standing banner. People are noticing that more than actually the words that were there for 4 years. So I think it's not a whole bunch of chaotic pictures. 2 really big pictures showing back pain, and the other one showing, I think I have examples. That's similar to what we're doing. It may not be the final picture, but it seems similar to that. something to draw attention to people without throwing all the words at them. You know, I'm not gonna, someone's gonna be flashing neon lights, it's just something to know what it's about. I mean, you can look at those pictures right there and you know what it is. Now, we were given proofs, I didn't show you guys that one, of what it would be to have 50% coverage. And it looked kind of strange, like they put them on the bottom and they put them on the top and they're just like empty spots. Now, even if we did one full window, we wouldn't have enough, according to the guidelines, to have any wording on the other window or a logo or anything like that. So I think if we just had this, I don't even have my logo up there. The logo would be up on an awning that I'm gonna be putting up there too. I'm changing the logo for our practice as well, so my logo itself doesn't even look like chiropractic.
Is there, if you don't mind me asking, is there an awning there now? I don't.
Yeah, that's what it is. There's an awning there, it's a gray awning with the small logo on top of it. And you really couldn't tell what it is.
I mean, there's a lot of reasons why the current ordinance is the way it is. One of them being a safety issue. And I own a business also, and I have no window coverings whatsoever as requested by the police department. Because the police like to be able to see into a building before they enter it, particularly at night. So that's one of the, one of the alternatives that I would see here would be curtains for inside, for security, for privacy, curtains or shades or something inside. But like I say, in my business, the police specifically asked no window covers.
I see that too, but also the police, I believe, asked that you have a light on in your office so that they can see it. At the end of the night, I'm the only place open, every other building has no lights on. And I keep mine on, but it doesn't make a difference if everyone else has it off.
Right. I have lights on and internal lights in my building 24/7 for that reason, because the police, if they come at night, which they have, can see into the building.
Now, if the signage was see-through or you could see through it to the inside, would that be okay?
Yeah, well, like I say, that from a security standpoint, yes, that would be, I think, adequate for anybody that was entering the building at night. But it's a risk, and like I say, I've experienced it where at 3 o'clock in the morning, the police had to come. And they don't want to go in that building when they're not sure what's going on.
The layout of the building also, we have the 2 windows in the front, but also have a vestibule which has windows and you walk in and the whole glass door is glass as well. So it's not the only visual to the office.
That speaks to my question, and so what was the plan for the door, the side light, or the side window, and that secondary inner door? It's glass as well?
Yeah, the inner door just has a logo and maybe open or close sign hanging on there. And then the window, where just be our hours.
So you're looking at just these 2 street-facing windows?
In your submittal, it's stated here that it's perforated window vinyl, much like the Pace Bus is, where
Yes,
if, in the discussion, if there was an interior light on
Right.
late evenings, you would still actually be able to see through that.
I use it. It's no issue with night. My question is, do we know why, the actual reason on why we don't allow 100% window coverings?
That I do not.
I mean, outside of the police wanting to see through, I mean, there's gotta be
Well,
more
I
of an
mean,
official reason.
if you look at several of the other examples that Josh gave, there isn't anyone that I see that allows 100%.
I believe it's traditionally primarily an aesthetic concern that you don't want every business on your downtown to have, complete window coverage with signage. So from that standpoint, that's one reason staff made our recommendation, is we don't have an opinion on the aesthetics.
and another thing you're saying about the aesthetics, I believe you guys were putting in for a beautification project and we gave you limited money to do the sidewalks. I think this would be a good step to the beautification, bring more foot traffic and seeing more people going to the downtown area.
Yeah.
I think that will increase it. I mean, we're right next to Copper Barrel. And people coming from Copper Barrel don't even know what chiropractic, they don't even know what chiropractic is. We're right next door. James Automotive, people don't even know us.
It talks in the submittal, to help screen the activities inside from public view. So how close is, where you're doing, your chiropractic work
Well, wait,
to the front window?
way HIPAA notification, way the HIPAA guidelines are.
Yeah.
Anyone knows you're in practice, there's a HIPAA
Right.
So if someone comes in, the front desk is right there.
Right.
They're checking in, signing in, talking to anyone in front, it's paper violation.
Right.
They walk in, my office, adjusting is right beside,
Right.
but there's a full corridor leads right to the physical therapy. You can actually see part of it. So,
So the part that's visible from the street with nothing on these windows is a waiting room or that front desk?
everything, you can basically see everything, except the corner around the waiting room.
Yeah, I mean,
So you
my,
do see the
It's just,
treatment area and what have you?
I mean, for privacy, from a privacy standpoint, you could have shades or curtains or drapes inside.
and that's been there before, prior to me, and
Yeah.
it, the aesthetics we're talking about, made me look like I was 84 years old. Okay.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you've spoken to the police at all, what their view is on it. But in my location, the police specifically asked no window covers on the windows. Not just mine, but the beauty salon next door and the restaurant up the street. For that reason, for security reasons.
And I'm sorry, sir, what's your name?
Rick.
Like you said, with the perforated windows, people can still see inside with the light, and you got the light on the side, you can see shadows and whatever else is walking in. It's basically all the police are seeing when they're driving by anyway. You're looking for shadows and motion inside. That's all we're really looking for. We want to bring more foot traffic. We want to be visible to,
Right,
it's more bringing to the community. Yeah, I want business. I'm a business owner, but
yeah.
this is not gonna bring me all the business in the world. This is gonna beautify Hampshire. I mean, I want it to be busy downtown. I mean, I'm looking across the street from me and I see emptiness. I wanted to see more. I was actually thinking as soon as I build this practice up, that I wanted to open other businesses within the community. Maybe a candy store. Anyone?
Thank you, sir.
So when you talk, I'm sorry, one more. Thing. When you talk about privacy, privacy is good. It's probably essential for people, but for me, as a medical professional, HIPAA guidelines requires privacy.
There are ways to get privacy without doing this. This is clearly, and this is not a negative, this is clearly for advertising. You're not doing this for privacy.
It's a dual purpose.
It's a dual purpose. It does, it's more than dual purposes. Tri-purpose. Okay, I do want to bring foot traffic to the community. I mean, what's better than going to a chiropractor when you got people walking down the street? You know, people stopping, driving by the street and they see things. I mean, I don't understand. I wasn't around when it happened, but the high school used to be a middle school, right? And back then, it was busy up and down the street. And since then, I think it went away quite a bit. One of my patients been telling me, since they moved to high school, it got bigger. I'm not against that. I want to bring the business back to the downtown area.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
We'll entertain a motion.
Actually, I have a comment, sorry, Mr. Chair. I thought we were gonna have a little additional, after, a little back and forth perhaps.
I thought we were gonna entertain the motion then deliberate.
Oh, I thought we could deliberate before the, okay.
Either way.
Apologies.
No, you make it to you.
I was just going to say that, we're not voting to change the ordinance. We're voting to see if this one guy who only has a limited place to put his signage can do this. If it's a freestanding building that can have all the signage and things in the world, I may be of a different, mood. But this being as it is where it is, like I said, we're not looking at a blanket amnesty for everyone. We're looking at case by case
Yeah.
in this instance. So just wanted to,
But in past experience with zoning, when you get into signs, everybody has their own opinion on what should be an acceptable sign. And we've been down that road 100 times with the truck stop. Now that's been resolved because we made that a separate entity. But no matter what business or where it's located, the Red Ox, I mean, I can go down the whole road. They want different signs up. They want them located different. They want larger, they want brighter, all over the place. So it's just, it's an area where everybody has an opinion of what they would like, what they don't like. That's all.
I could say that a curtain versus some professional signage, I mean, there's a gigantic difference. Do I want it looks like there's some shady dealings going on as I'm walking down the street, or do I want it to look professional and, keep a company in compliance with federal law?
And the other aspect I had was, of course, the security aspect of it. Now, Brian isn't here, our chief of police isn't here to comment, but I don't know what his view would be on the building where the police could not see into it for security reasons.
But that's been covered, the use of perforated
Yeah.
signage, and the light is left on. You
You'll be able to see at night when it's brighter inside than out.
Yeah, so when the
That
security
trip
lights,
lights,
when the
okay.
security lights on, the police will be able to see inside. If there's a fire inside, the fire department can see.
And there's plenty of glass here to the left here where there would actually be entering the property.
Yeah.
Yeah, there'd be no obstruction from the actual entrance of the building.
Mr. Rosetti, any additional questions, comment?
Well, I agree with Mr. Hoffman. He makes some very good points. And the question I have is, I believe before we change any ordinances, we should ask ourselves whether or not changing the ordinance would make Hampshire a better place to live or a better place to do business. And I don't see where changing this ordinance could make this a better place for business or for residents. And I don't see a problem with just 50% of the window. I think that's enough advertising.
Well, just to clarify, again, on this agenda item is not actually changing the ordinance. It's just a one-off variance for this property. So the ordinance would still stand as stated.
Okay,
This is-
well, I still make the same point then, whether it's a variance or an ordinance change.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's ordinances like these that hurt businesses. When you go into a city that only allows 20% of window space and you're paying $20,000 a month on a building, I don't think it's up to the government to tell you what you can and can't put in your windows. Again, we're not talking about a safety issue. We're not talking about a fire issue. We're talking about signage. And unless the village of Hampshire is paying his rent, I don't see the point of, going against it.
Fair point. Any further questions, comments? Opining?
No.
I will entertain a motion to recommend the approval of this variance of the community graphics regulations at 184 South State Street to vary the coverage limitation to 100% of the window surface area.
I'll second.
Well, so moved.
Who's making the
Moved and seconded.
Mr. Ravish moved and Mr. Neal seconded. Mr. Frillman, roll call, please.
Mr. Ravitch,
Aye.
Mr. Neal,
Aye.
Mr. Hoffman,
No.
myself, aye, Mr. Rosetti,
Nay,
Mr. Morag.
You don't have to.
Aye. Right, that is 4 ayes, 2 nays. Yes, it does.
what's the additional advisory meeting?
Under case 4.
May I say something?
Yes, sir.
So thank you for the ayes and the nays. The nays tell me what the things I need to focus on to make sure that we bring the community, make the community stronger, and to be part of that as well. Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you'd like to go.
In between agenda items, I did check my notes and it was motion second, opine, then vote.
Forgive me, sir. I thought we had to close I was in the vein of closing the portion of the hearing.
Yeah, which we
That would- yeah.
Right.
My mistake.
Next on our agenda, a motion to recommend the approval of a final plat of neighborhood M of the Prairie Ridge subdivision. And on that, we have our often present friend, Mr. Olson.
I'm here.
Okay.
Okay, I did prepare a huge presentation, but just basically, this is the next stage of our subdivision. It's after being in the village for 17 years now. It's good to see we finally got an activity going out there. Very excited you guys have seen it. I hope you're excited as we are, but we're running out of lots. So we finished our neighborhood K&L last year, which has been planted for quite some time. And now we're looking to go into our first townhome section, which is section adjacent to K&L, to south of Kelly Road. You have all the information from you, but just to run it down quickly, 20 acres or almost 21 acres, 139 townhomes, 22 buildings. It's got a 5.5 acre park in the middle. It's got a tap connection to the neighborhoods to the south, and will ultimately have a tap connection to the neighborhoods to the north. Our builder is DR Port. We're under contract with them, and we received comments from Tim for the final plat. We see no issues with those comments. We expect comments this week from EI for the engineering. We don't anticipate any issues with that. We were here tonight to ask for your favorable recommendation for the final plat for unit. Be happy to take any questions or answer any questions or concerns you may have.
Anyone have any questions?
There were some modifications, most of which were clerical in nature. What were some of the modifications that are ongoing?
So probably the biggest one, which I think you're referring to, is this is in substantial conformance with our preliminary plat and engineering that was approved in 2005 or 6 maybe. But the biggest change is this was originally designed to be a condo style townhomes, which basically means everything around it is common area, common maintained.
Yeah.
What the builders these days are that used to be the norm. Nowadays, builders, particularly the national builders, want to have a fee simple sale, a means of sale. So each building, each unit within each building is actually, and you can see it on the plat, is actually a separate plat, and the property owner will own that entire project. Why they want to do that now versus the old style, I'm not really clear, to be honest with you, but that is a trend these days, and it has been for a good 5 years. So I would say that would be the only difference. Other than that, it's absolutely in substantial conformance with the original preliminary plat. But
And could you give me a little explanation on the fee simple part of it, please?
so the fee simple, if you take a look at the plat,
Yes.
on the A page, you can see how each of the units is carved out as a plat. So that purchaser of that unit will have a plat for that unit, and they'll own it, right?
Okay.
Historically, condos, it was one big lot, right? And
Correct.
condos were within it, and they wouldn't own,
They don't own the land.
they don't own the land. Exactly.
Thank you. Yeah, in Illinois, I don't remember seeing that too often, the fee simple in Illinois. I mean, I see it in Hawaii, places like that, but not Illinois.
This is my first, right? I've been with Crown for 24 years, the first time I see it.
Yeah.
So what it is it's what they're doing now. And I think it's probably due to the desires of the buyer. The buyers have become more sophisticated, I think. But it really doesn't change anything. It's still, either way, it's common maintenance, right?
You never own the land.
Yep, exactly.
So, yeah, like I say, it's very common in Hawaii
Yeah.
because only natives can own land in Hawaii.
Yeah.
But
That makes sense.
I've never seen it anyplace else.
Yeah, it's again, I asked the question again tonight. to our vice president of sales and marketing, why they do it. And
Yes.
it's just what builders want to do these days. That's just how it is. So, but it's pretty common across the country.
Well, yeah, I have property in Arizona and we don't even do that in Arizona.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
If I could, Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
just note that EEI did provide a plan review letter. There were several outstanding issues, but in speaking with the village manager and Mr. Paulson is available here to answer any questions. We do believe that Crown and their engineers will be able to take care of those things before the village board. So staff does recommend approval of this final plat subject to those revisions being submitted and approved.
Okay.
If I may ask, for these units, where is the parking for the homeowners?
The parking is within the units. You don't have the engineering with you, but each unit has its own parking, and if you enter it from the public right of way, you would any other townhome. So it's
These are similar to 47 and 72.
it's the pretty much the same product that Horton is building over in that area. So if you have questions about that, you can. Right.
Any further questions or comments from Mr. Olson?
Sir.
Rossetti,
Yes, sir.
any additional input? Just want to make sure you're not being left out or accidentally muted.
On purpose. I mean, excellent.
Thank you very much. I'm good, Brian.
Okay. I will entertain a motion to recommend the approval of final plat of neighborhood M,
I will,
Prairie Ridge subdivision.
I will make some motion.
Second.
All please, Mr. Spillman.
Mr. Revich,
Aye.
Mr. Neal,
Aye.
Mr. Hoffman,
Aye.
myself, aye. Mr. Rossetti,
Aye.
5 ayes. Passed.
Thank you.
And unless we'd like to motion second and opine, I will entertain a motion to authorize the chair to report the results of this evening's agenda items A and B to the village board of trustees.
Second.
need a roll call?
Yes, please.
Mr. Revich,
Aye.
Mr. Neal,
Aye.
Mr. Hoffman,
Aye.
myself, aye. Mr. Rossetti.
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen. Nobody signed up for public comment this evening? No, sir. And I do not believe I have any announcements. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you. Very good. 30 minutes, 29 minutes. That means we're getting too good at this.
Roll call at 7:30. Mr. Plummer? Adjourn.
We can do that.
Rick was already adjourned.
Mr. Revich,
Aye.
Mr. Neal,
Aye.
Mr. Hoffman,
Aye.
myself, aye. Mr. Rossetti.
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.